Welcome back to another episode, guys. We are just continuing to move right along with the MazWorks sr22vet. Let's just call it rebuild of the FC rx7. So, if you guys didn't watch last episode, or the last couple, we assembled the SR20. So you got to see the block and the head separated, and then we put it together. And then after that, I dummy mocked the turbo on and the manifold that I built, and we dropped it in the car, bolted it on the 350Z transmission. And then last episode, we made the new engine mounts. If you guys haven't checked those videos out, you should, because they're good. But anyway, today's video, we are going to start making the new V-mount setup. So that's the old. This is the exact same radiator as I have here. And this core is a little smaller than the one I have. Never had air intake temperature problems, and I run E85 when I'm on high boost, so shouldn't be a problem. If it is, we'll just fucking make another one, right? But first step, I put the power steering pump on. It is not clean. We'll clean it up after we pull all this back out and do final assembly. But I needed that in there for the clearance for the water neck, because this bolts here, and then I have a swirl pot that bolts onto it, and then it goes down to the radiator. So we need to finish putting that stuff on. That way I can have everything positioned so I know where my clearances are. Like that, we have a brand new Mishimoto radiator, which is the bottom side of our V-mount setup. I cleaned up the hose a little bit. This is the same hose. It looks a lot better. It's actually in pretty good condition. It just looked janky, so I cleaned it up. But you can see it's quite bigger than this outlet, but I've never had leaking issues, so I'm going to weld a bead on the bottom of it, or maybe I just weld this on there, like cut that off and put the same length but with that bead on there. But anyway, this is a radiator done, and like this is not even tight. I mean, it's pretty damn good with just one bracket and nothing else tight. So we should have plenty of room for this, and our intake manifold goes right there. This guy. So we shouldn't have any issues with that either. Because it goes like right there. Our fuel line will be close, but it should be plenty okay. Like I said, all this stuff was in here before, so theoretically it should all work again. I just set the core in there, so it's resting on the actual radiator and resting on the let's call it upper rad support. Which honestly, we could notch all this, but I've really tried not to over the years. But I could definitely kind of hammer this in a little bit if I wanted to. But honestly, this is probably going to come up and forward so that we can get a full clearance. And even getting that inch shorter, I should be able to come out now and box this in. And then this gives us a lot more room for the intercooler piping over here as well. I am fearing that I've made it a little too short. But, like, honestly, like I said, I wasn't using this much because there's no way airflow was getting through there efficiently at all. So as far as the width goes, I think it's the same, but we're an inch shorter, I think. So what is this? The actual core is just over 23. We'll say 23 and a quarter. This is 21 and 3/4. So it's an inch and a half shorter. That's it. Yeah, 1 inch would be, yeah, then 3 and a quarter. So inch and a half shorter. So it shouldn't, I don't know. It looks kind of tiny in there though, doesn't it? But once I get the intakes on there and everything, it will start filling out, I think. But, you know, before, this den is in here because the intercooler sat so close. In fact, here, I'll put the old intercooler in it so you guys can see it. This is how the old one sat. While I almost trip on the bandsaw. But you can see there's a little gap in there because it kind of sat on that neck way over there. You can see it. And in fact, it actually sat a little back like that. You can see the hole. So about like this. But you can see I'm not really utilizing any of that part. So, and it was very cluttered. The throttle body sat like right here. So I had to come right here and go around where I don't want this boxed. I want it kind of like this. And you can see I've remade this one, but I don't want to remake that for the 5th time. So that's why I just got the new core. But it looks like I have a lot more room with the new core. Hopefully it's not a mistake. I would hate to build an intercooler and then need to upgrade the intercooler because I'm making too much boost. Oh well. We'll try that as version 1, and if we need to, we'll go to version 2. I just set it in there, centered it, and this is pretty much where I want it to sit. And I went ahead and cut templates out, just like I did on the oil pan. If you guys watched that video when I built that guy, that's half of it, you know. But it's down there. So I use a Nilla folder and I cut out a template. And then I use a miter saw with a wood blade on it, and I cut all the aluminum plates out. As you can see, I don't have a miter saw around here, so I had to go to my work and cut it out. So I cut 4 of these guys out, which will sit right there. That looks really good. And then right there. Of course, the intercooler will move just a slight bit, but ideally that's where I want it. So I cut 4 of these guys out. So that's 1 tank, and this is the 2nd tank. And then I cut 2 of these out. Well, as you can tell, the setting has changed. We're back at my work, and I have a bigger Miller welder here. So I just tacked all these at my shop, and then I just planned on welding it here at the shop. But if you notice, this doesn't have the last piece in there, and that's because this is 6061 aluminum, and it will bend that much, but it will not bend this much. It will just break on you. So I ended up cutting these off, and then we'll just plate these in last. Also, it looked like I'm about that too long on the intercooler, so we're gonna have to cut these off as well. But I think the first step is just to weld all that together. And then I think I'll weld it on the intercooler, and then the very last step, I'll box these in. So my start stops. I may have to go back. You can see there's a little pitting there. Well, for whatever reason, when I was starting the torch, it wasn't really wanting to weld. But not too bad for just fast welds. But I may weld the inside. I'll probably just put a couple of beads on it so that it won't pop off. Won't break my weld. I mean, I left plenty of side edge on both of them, so it shouldn't break. That's the way you're supposed to weld it. But just in case, I think I will just put a like 1-inch bead there and another 1-inch bead up here or something. But now, as you can see, I'm on the mill table, and what I want to do is make that completely flat. Now you could take a grinder to it, and that's not really going to get it flat. Or you could sand it with a belt sander, preferably a table belt sander like this. But our belt is stretched, so it would take me probably hours to cut it flat off that. So since I'm working at a machine shop and we have a mill table, might as well just mill it. So I've got it level somewhat. It's level to the table, but you can see they're already a little off of the angle. Not much, but we've got it tight in here, and I'm just gonna come in and mill this down so that we're completely flat. And then I may mill this too, I don't know. We're gonna grab the intercooler after I mill it, and then we'll see how flat it sits. And we'll do that to both sides. So I've gone ahead and tacked them to the core. And this is the back side. So I think that I'm going to make this the back side. Doesn't really matter as long as they're the same. But I'm going to weld the back side first. Then we'll weld the front side, which is the bottom right now. And then we'll weld this the top. I'm going to leave this open for the time being, so I can kind of figure out if I want the 2.5-inch pipe to go right here, or if I want to go like on the side, like right here. We'll figure that out, but I'm going to get to work welding this thing. It is fully, the end plates are fully welded. Well, they're welded to the intercooler core. Like I said, I still haven't closed this end on either side, but everything else is welded. This is the back side, which you can see pretty good, and then messed up a little bit. Same with here, I kind of waved there. But this is the front side. So, pretty happy with it. Again, this is just one step. So we put the core in there, then we made the end plate tiplet, and then now we've made the end plates, and now we've welded the end plates to the core. So now we need to put this back in the car and see where our outlet and inlet are going to go. Oh, I also forgot to show, I did fully weld the inside as well. Instead of just doing a couple of beads, I just went ahead and fully welded it, so we shouldn't have any issues. The weakest part is right in here, and I welded a fat ass bead. So hopefully, as long as we've designed this correctly and we don't have high pressure zones, it shouldn't blow out anyway. But I'm actually letting it intercool, so air is blowing in the top, and I can actually feel it coming out down here. So we're cooling this off so I can put it back in the car. Back at the shop, and I've spent some time centering everything and getting the intercooler exactly where I want it. You can see it's pretty cool looking. It looks pretty good in here. So I like everything about this. So I went ahead and I've made little brackets to go back to the old mounting point, which is there. And there. And so I have these two mounting tabs. They're already, there you go. Now you can see the marks. They're already marked, so I'm going to pull the intercooler out and put them where I have them marked and weld them. So I went ahead and fully welded the mounting tabs. Not too bad. Little thick. My 110 around here really isn't enough to weld this, but I heated it up and was able to get good welds on it. But now I'm designing the last piece of the end tanks, which are the end caps where the intercooler pipes are going to connect. So I've already, you can see the step. I took nil envelope, got it to the right size, cut it out, traced it on aluminum. I've now rough cut the aluminum. It fits, but it needs some cleaning. So we'll end up cleaning it up real fast. And then we can put it in the car. I have figured some things out. So before I was going to come out the bottom. Now I'm going to come out the top. You can see I've already pie cut this one, and that's pretty much where it's going to sit. And then I'll do the same thing. I just got the 2.5 inch pipe today. I'm going to pie cut and have pretty much the same thing on this side, but it will be 2.5, 2 3/4. So I've got to make that. And then I also ordered this bead roller. And earlier in the video I was saying how this is smaller than the hose that it's going into, but that's actually false. It's just the bead is not rolled. So once I roll the bead, we shouldn't have any issues. So I'm gonna test out my new little toy and hopefully roll a bead here. And then I'm gonna cut this down some because it's the hose is coming all the way to here or something. And then I'm gonna put a bead on this side too. So I've got it in there, and I've kind of got to use two hands because I need to press this. I barely have it in there. I've already rotated it and you can't feel it, but that's pretty much, you can see it kind of went crooked, but you just spin it around and around. There we go. Now we've got beads rolled on the top, both of them. I just took some microfiber and sanded it down. Got a lot of the oxidization off of it. And now it should sit in here and be a lot more secure. So, like I said, we'll put that back in, and then I need to take that 2.5 inch pipe right there and do this. I think this is the best design. I think it shouldn't have any high pressure zones in here if we come down, and it shouldn't have any high pressure zones over there. We definitely clear the hood. I like that. You know, that's a pretty straight shot to that. You know, there'll be some bends, but, and you can see where my filter sits. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room right here to get some bends to come up. I've ordered a 10 mil longer belt to get the alternator to come up just a little bit more. So that's pretty much where the turbo will sit. I've already clocked it back a little bit. And I think we have good clearance everywhere. I think that looks good. I like it. And this gives us a good amount of room to have the tile blow-off valve right here. And it's a straight shot. So I'm going to fully weld these now. And then I think I need to drill some holes. I have a 2.5 inch hole saw, so it will make this side a little bit too big, this side a little too small, and we'll clean this up, and then I'll be able to just shove that pipe straight in the hole. Got my machine dialed in. Laid some pretty good welds. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the intercooler finished. So the inlet, which is 2.5, which matches our turbo outlet, is welded on. And then our outlet, which is the cold side, which is 2.75, which matches the throttle body, is welded on. Welded the end cap on both sides, and she's done. Pretty proud. Did a pretty good job. Like I said, there's a good comparison. The new one to the old one. Let's put it in the car. Oh, it looks so good in here. As you can see, pretty much a 45-degree angle, and it'll go right in there. And we've got a little bit of ways to go there, but I mean, for a normal front mount, it's, you know, a third of the piping. And then I got this in. It is a tile 50 mil blow-off valve. So it will match, well, it's not in here, it's over there, but I have a tile wastegate, purple as well. All the Mazworks stuff is purple. It's all covered up, that purple. It's a little different, but it's pretty close. And then even the injectors, the IDs, are purple, but that's definitely a different purple. But anyway, this is going to go, I would say, just about there. It's got a little flange on there. So, it's probably going to go right there. It's going to look pretty cool. So, that's the next video. I'll make the hot, the cold, and the charge pipe. And then I don't know if that will be in one video, and then the down pipe and exhaust will be the other. But that's the other thing we have. So the only thing I'm waiting on for the exhaust is a racing muffler. It's just a 3-inch in and out with stainless steel mesh. Well, it's stainless steel corrugated with stainless steel mesh behind it. So the no fiberglass. It's pretty damn small. It's just to take out a little drone. And then we're going to reuse. This is a S13, some of it. This part and the tip is an S13 Buddy Club exhaust kit. And then I pieced it together with other pieces. This is 409. You can see it's rusted a lot more than the 304 stainless. It still rusts a little bit, but nowhere near what 409 does. So I had 409, but I went ahead and splurged and got 8 foot of 304. So we'll have full 304, all the downpipe, the 3.5 inch exhaust or downpipe, all of that is 304 stainless. V-bands are 304 stainless. And then the exhaust will all be out of 304 stainless. The muffler's 304, and then that tip is 304 as well. So we'll probably do downpipe and all the intercooler piping, and then make the exhaust in the next video. I don't know. If you guys want it all in one video, leave a comment below. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy the build, and if this is the first video you're joining in, all of this has been documented. Just go back to the channel and click on some other videos. And make sure to like and subscribe, guys. We'll see you next time.